Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Mondays with Michele video. This week, we will explore several North American map websites and look at how county and provincial or state boundaries have changed over the years. Understanding these changes could help you locate some of those elusive records. Let's get started. So the first site I'm going to show you is one sponsored by the Newberry Library in the United States. So if we look at this screen, there's a few things I want to show you. You'll notice at the bottom, there's this slideshow of images. And if we click through the different images by clicking the numbers at the bottom here, the pages, it's showing some of the images are showing the county boundaries. Some of them are showing the state and territorial boundaries. And if you click on a particular image, this is the one for state and territorial boundaries, it will bring up a video that shows basically a time lapse of how those boundaries evolved over time up to the present. And similarly, if I go back and look at, this is county boundaries, if I click on that, again, it will show a time lapse of when the immigrants came to North America in the 1600s. You can see the boundaries forming. We'll just kind of click through and it's showing how those counties evolved. So that's something that I thought was quite interesting, but the main resource I'd like to show you is this map in the top portion of the screen. So you can go to a detailed map by clicking on a particular state. You can also select the name of the state and click Go to go directly to that page. So for instance, if we go to Alabama, you come to this detail page about the state of Alabama. And I'll just show you some of the items. You can look at an index of the counties within the state of Alabama. And as you can see, there are quite a few of them. You can click on one of those counties and it actually tells you all of the boundary changes that happened over a period of time, which can be really useful if you're trying to understand where the records might be for your ancestors. The other thing you can look at is the interactive map. And one thing I would point out, so this is one state. That one state has 67 counties. So understanding those boundaries and jurisdictions is critical to being able to figure out where records might be located. So if we now look at the interactive map for Alabama, the blue is showing the outline of the state. And I can click on any of these dates in this list on the left, and it will redraw the county boundaries as of that date. And this information box at the bottom left of the map is showing the related information. It's showing the effective date of these boundaries, and it's showing what that area is. Now, if I click on one of these areas, you notice the information in that box has changed to tell me the description of this area. If I now click on Tuscaloosa County, it's telling me the information related to the boundary changes for Tuscaloosa. So I found these interactive maps are quite useful. Something else that's handy to know. There are some additional information tabs up top. This Using the Atlas gives you really good information on what you can do and how to navigate this interactive map. There is also the ability to download some of the map information, and one of the formats is as a PDF file. Now, I did download the Alabama map information, and I'll just show you. This is the type of file you get. Now, I'm going to point out a few things. This one PDF file has 660 pages, so I wouldn't go ahead and print the whole thing. But if you are researching in a particular county in Alabama, you get these really nice maps broken down based on the boundary changes, different points in time. This is the complete listing of the information for that state that you would find on those interactive maps. So that can be a very useful resource. So I also wanted to show you the same, well, similar concept for Canada. So I went looking to see what interactive maps they might have for Canada. And this is the Government of Canada website. And the map I'm going to show you is this last one on the list called Territorial Evolution from 1867 to 2017. So let's take a look at this Territorial Evolution Map. And if I click View the Map, I get a screen that looks like this. Now, this little description here, which personally I find very difficult to read, if I click this View Description button, it puts that description at the top in a much easier to view format. So what I can now do is I can either hit play and it will go through step by step all of the changes to boundaries from Confederation in 1867 through to current times. And these slower and faster buttons I can use to either speed up the process or slow it down. I can also manually step through the changes by clicking this next date or previous date buttons. So those are the double arrows. These double arrows in the line, these symbols that have like 3 strokes, that is go to the end of the sequence. This one is go to the beginning of the sequence. So just by hovering over each of these arrows, it will tell you what those buttons do. So let's just click next date, just so that you can see what's happening. So it's showing in 1871, we now have British Columbia, where I live, joining Confederation. We've got some more changes happening. We now have some of the Prairie Provinces starting to be defined. So, as I said, this map is interesting, if only to give you an appreciation of the length of time before these modern provinces actually joined. It wasn't until the early 1900s that Alberta and Saskatchewan were created with those boundaries they have today. So this affects where you might look for some of the records if you had ancestors that homesteaded in those areas. So I wanted to point that map out to you. Now, the next site I wanted to show you, since a lot of people emigrated to Canada and came to the province of Ontario. This is a useful website which shows the boundary changes for the province of Ontario. And to give you an idea what's on this particular website, you've got links to detail pages showing the boundaries and how they changed from the early 1700s to the 1900s. And I've got those pages set up here. I'll just show you. You have basically a series of maps that you can click on and enlarge to see the boundaries at those points in time. Something else on the page, you have early districts and counties, which is particularly useful. And I've got that page opened up. So if you clicked on this link, you would see this page here. And a few links to point out. You can see a table listing all of the pre-1850 districts. So this is the district. This is the counties that were included in that district. There is also a table listing the pre-1850 counties. So again, these are useful finding aids when you're trying to figure out where records might be located. So the last website I want to show you, and I found this one quite fascinating. It is a project that was done by the University of McGill in Canada, and it is called the Canadian County Atlas Digital Project. It is digitized historical county maps of Ontario. And this is what the homepage of the website looks like. If we take a look at this County Atlas link, it gives you information about these atlases that they used as the basis for the project. And one of the interesting things is these atlases were created and were sold by subscription. And what happened was, as they did supplements to these atlases, if you were one of the subscribers, you had the option of providing biographical information, which they would include in the atlas. And the subscribers' names would actually be shown on the maps detailing the plots of land. So in that sense, it is kind of similar to the information we might see on a British tithe map, where you look to see the occupiers. So this is a really useful source. So if we now come back to the home page, just by clicking on the home button at the bottom of the screen, let's click search, and you come to this page. The interesting thing is, because this atlas includes the names of people occupying the strips of land, you can search by the name of a person. But what we'll first do is actually go to the maps themselves. So this is what you get. This is an 1880 map of the Ontario counties. And you can search this in a number of different ways. You can select a county here, and you could even specify the township. Now, the township was a subdivision of the county, and one township might have more than one town or village inside it. So you can actually drill right down to the town level, or you could hover over a particular county and click on it, or you could use this list of county names with the corresponding numbers. So for instance, if I'm looking for county, let's see, county 11, which is here, the list tells me Brant County is county 11. So if I click on Brant County, it brings me up a map of that county. And I could click on a particular section to see that township. But whether I am on the township map or the map of the county, look at these links below. I have the option of viewing a larger version of the map, but I also have the ability to generate an index of people. And what this is an index of people for that map I selected. In this case, I had selected the township map for Dumfries Township for the Brant County. It is giving me a list of all of the people. And if I press this drop down, this list is 31 pages now long, and I could navigate by just doing these page forward arrows to step through the list, or I could, since it's an alphabetical list, I could jump around and just click go to locate individuals if I was perhaps looking for a particular person. So once you find a particular individual, this link over on the right that says go will take you directly to the detail page for the record of information for that individual. So it confirms the township, it confirms the county, it tells you the date of the map. This information here is their property. And you can ask to see where that is on the map. So what we're seeing on the right here is the map of the township that I selected, the Dumfries Township. What we're seeing on the left is the enlarged version where this little square is that's showing the plot of land for this W. Howell. And there is his property right here. And you can see the neighboring properties by clicking this little magnifying glass. You notice now it's changed to Tillman. So what this magnifying glass is doing is basically moving this grid, this square, so that you can see different portions of the map. Let's go back. If we do search again, let's say we want to do a people search. So if I search on Sonley relatives, and I'm not going to specify a county. In this case, I want to see how many Sonleys might be listed that would have settled in the province of Ontario. So I'm just going to type Sonley and I'm going to click search. And this is telling me that according to this atlas, they have information regarding the property for 5 different Sonleys. And you notice one of them's in the Brock Township. 2 of them are, or actually 2 of them are in Brock, 2 are in Whitby, and 1 of them is Reach. So we're going to look at this entry here for G. Sonley and Henry Sonley in Whitby. So if I click, for instance, on G. Sonley, it tells me he actually has 3 pieces of property. And if I say, let's locate it on the map, there is his plot of land. And if I click it's showing me, yes, here it is, G. Sonley, lot 27. If I click at this end of lot 27, notice the name change. That is where Henry Sonley is listed. So even though this big label says G. Sonley, it appears that there were two different Sonleys on this particular piece of property. If I click this adjoining lot, it is also owned by G. Sonley. So he had lot 26. It's a little bit hard to see. I'll just blow the map up. This is the lot number. So lot 26 is also G. Sonley's. Lot 27 is the lot that both G. Sonley and Henry Sonley were on. So just by clicking on these different lots, you are seeing who the occupiers of that land were. This lot that is directly below G. Sonley is an S. Fuller. So I thought that was really interesting that you could not only navigate through the map and view the boundaries and view these historic maps, but the fact that they have the names of the individuals and that you can do that people search is really useful. I hope you enjoyed learning about these map websites. Don't forget to download the handout. You'll find the link in the video description at the bottom of your screen. Thanks for watching.